back to County Connection. I'm Jason Gray, and we're here to talk about the Rockpile Museum. This is Stephen Zacharias, who is the museum educator. I definitely didn't just read that off your name tag.
It's all right. I'm just one of the museum educators there at the Rockpile Museum, and we got some exciting stuff starting to kick off. Our very first big event of the year will be Friday and Saturday, May 6th and 7th. It's the Powder River Basin Sheep Herders Festival.
Okay.
And it's going to be a 32-hour immersive event where we celebrate all things Northeast Wyoming sheep herder culture, going back to the early days when the Basque and the Scots were here taking care of sheep, all the way to the modern era where we see a lot of Quechua shepherds or folks of the highlands of South America, places like Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, Peru, who come and they spend 6 months in Wyoming in the Bighorn Mountains taking care of sheep, and then they spend 6 months down in South America doing the same thing. So they never see winter. They're always in the summer months with some sheep. So yeah.
All right. So you said 32-hour immersive. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, so we're going to set up right off of First Street. So you'll want to enter from the First Street side, the back side of the museum, as it were. We'll have our historic hands-on sheep wagon set up that I will be living out of for those 32 hours. So you can stop by and visit me. We will have some cooking demonstrations because I got to eat during those 32 hours. We'll do some laundry because we're going to have some clothes that need to be washed. We'll also have some special guests. Mr. Dave Romvet, formerly of the University of Wyoming. He's a retired professor of the Creative Arts Division. He'll be there at 10 and 3, both Friday and Saturday, presenting at one presentation. It will be traditional poetry and storytelling of Basque culture, both traditional and contemporary. And then he'll also provide us with another program each day that is contemporary and traditional Basque accordion music as well. We'll have some surprise visits from members of the Basque Club over in Buffalo. So you never know, you may show up at the same time that they're there. And additionally, Mrs. Michelle Miller, one of the local special education teachers here in town, she's going to bring her sheep and her sheepdogs, and she'll be doing some sheepdog trial demonstrations each day as well. So we'll be celebrating all types of things associated with taking care of sheep, not necessarily the sheep ranchers that get all the press and the newspapers and the history books, but the people that they hired are the ones that we're going to focus on for these 2 days.
All right, wow. So this is definitely an event where you'll want to go, maybe come back a little later as well. Absolutely.
This is something that we're trying out for a new way of doing events. Sure. Both days will be free to the public, so you don't got to worry about an admission fee those 2 days. And if you're one of those late shift workers who gets off early in the morning or starts work late at night, we're right there off of First Street. Come on, pull in. I'll have a fire going. I'll probably still have some coals going in the cook stove as well. So you want to come around and talk and visit. It's an opportunity for folks that don't normally get to come to a museum event or activity. So we start at 8 a.m. on Friday the 6th, run all the way till 5 p.m. On Saturday the 7th. And if there's a time where you feel like you want to drop by, please do. Also, I want to put out a call for any past or current shepherds that happen to be in town those 2 days. I've got some picnic tables all set up. We've got an opportunity for you to come and swap stories, share stories with us and whoever's there that day as well. So please come on out anytime during those 32 hours. You can come back multiple times too, that'd be great.
All right. And is there anything else you'd like to share about it?
Other than it's May 6th and 7th, again, 32 hours straight, and it is free admission.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Rockpile segment of Canon Connection. Now I'm here with Robert Henning, the director of the Rockpile Museum. And other than the festival that Stephen talked about, what's going on in May?
Yes, so May we've got a couple other events, both of which surround books about Wyoming history. I've mentioned one of those before, but I'll start with the other one. On May 14th, that's a Saturday, from 1 to 2:30, Lorna Whistler will be in. And Lorna is from the Rosette Whistler family, and she lives out in Virginia now, but she's going to be back to visit family, visit friends, and she's going to be promoting her new book, Rosette, Campbell County, Wyoming, and its Homestead Families. And this quite large book she's been working on for years.
Oh, sure.
She had previously done a book about the cemetery there and the folks buried in the cemetery. And that research kind of led her into this book, which is more family histories, more stories about the Rosette area, photographs, quite a large volume, over 300 pages.
Yeah.
Great book. It is available in our gift shop. Since it's self-published, it's a little bit pricier. It's $40.
Okay.
$40, but there's not many copies available.
Sure.
So we are reserving some copies back for the book signing.
Okay.
So if you stop in and we're all sold out, we will have copies that day, May 14th, for the book signing. So Lorna will not be doing a presentation. She's just going to talk to folks, visit, sign books, and certainly if you have questions for her or want to share a story yourself with her, she would probably love that. So.
All right. And that is
May 14th,
May 14th.
at 1 p.m.
Okay.
And she's scheduled for about an hour and a half. But if there's a huge crowd, I'm sure she'll stick around and greet people a little bit longer.
Okay. And the other book event?
Yep, the other book event is 10 days later, and that is Wyoming's Friendly Skies. I did confirm that we'll have both authors with us,
Oh, good.
Mike Castle and Starley Talbot. They are out of Cheyenne, and they've written several books together. This one is about airline hospitality and a stewardess training school that was in Cheyenne. Originally, it was before the war for a little bit, and then after the war, it really took off. So this book that they published through the History Press, full of great photos and information about that school and Cheyenne history. They also wrote Wyoming's Airmail Pioneers, which is also available in our gift shop, about the air mail service, the transcontinental service, and flying through Wyoming with the mail. So that is a little bit older history, but also just great aviation history. So May 24th, 7 p.m. at the Rockpile Museum. That will be a free event. Both events actually are free to come and listen to the author or get your book signed. So May 24th at 7 p.m.
All right. Perfect. And I see you've got some other stuff from the gift shop.
Absolutely, absolutely. Always got to have stuff. So let's start with this one since Stephen talked about the Sheep Herders Festival. Sheep Wagon. This is by Nancy Wydell, former state employee. Wrote this years ago, but it's still really one of the best books to learn about the kind of unique Wyoming version of a sheep wagon. So you can read about the different iterations of it, where it came from, the builders. There's information about Frank George, who built wagons out of Gillette in here. The wagon inside the museum is a Frank George wagon built in Gillette. So if you're interested in this, we have a couple copies in the gift shop right now. Also related to the Sheep Herders Festival, reach off screen, puppet. Our lamb puppet. We've got a nice collection of puppets, but I thought since we'll have some lambs at the Sheep Herders Festival that we probably ought to bring this one on and show him off. So you can have some fun with puppets. But come to the Sheep Herders Festival. We'll have some lambs that you can pet and maybe even bottle feed a little bit. So I'm hungry. So yeah, that's fun. Everybody loves a good puppet. Also, a couple of other books we have. This one is I See by Your Outfit, Historic Cowboy Gear of the Northern Plains. So if you're going to a fancy dress party and you want to know what authentic historic cowboys wore, this is your book. It's not always what's in the movies, of course.
Oh, of course.
You know, in the movies, John Wayne always has a nice shirt on. He's always looking sharp. Of course, the cowboys, maybe not so much.
Oh, no.
A little more utilitarian clothing, a little less fancy. There was a time for fancy clothing, going to town clothing, your Sunday best, right? But mostly this book talks about the normal everyday wear of a cowboy on the Northern Plains. So that is by Tom Lindemeyer and Steve Mount, who are both friends of the museum, I'm excited to say. So someday we may have them in to talk about this book.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, some great Wyoming history is the story of Big Nose George, the famous outlaw. If you don't know his story, you need to read this book. He was hung in Rawlins in 1881. They finally caught up with him. And then, in somewhat gruesome fashion, his parts of his body were used as trophies.
Oh.
And you may have heard this story. If you haven't, you need to buy the book. The book is $19.95 in the gift shop. But that's why the skull there is cut open.
Yeah, I can see. You can see the...
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So one of our governors is involved in this history as well.
One of our past governors.
One of our past governors,
Yes.
who may have wore an article of clothing made from Big Nose George. So all quite gruesome, But one of those famous Wyoming stories. So
Yes.
check that book out. All of these books and much more, many puppets. Oh, and I brought some fishing gear since it's springtime, right? We've got the Wyoming spoon lures, so the Wyoming state flag, the Wyoming University of Wyoming logos. You can get those at the museum as well, $9.98. So less than $10. You can show off your school pride or state pride doing some fishing.
Yeah, show it off to the fish.
That's right. And I'm told they work very well.
Oh, good.
So fancy and utilitarian all at the same time. So all of this and more in the gift shop. It's open when we're open, 8 to 5, Monday through Saturday.
All right. And is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
We've got some new exhibits up. You're going to want to check out from Cowtown to Boomtown, I think it's called, or something like that. I'm blanking at the moment. It is aerial photos and maps of Gillette.
Sure.
Specifically the city of Gillette and how it grew from the 1920s and 30s all the way up through about 2000.
Oh, wow.
And so you'll see the best part of it really for me is that we have like a 58 photo. And so 1958 is before the oil boom.
Oh, sure.
And then we have photos in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s that shows the oil boom growth, the coal growth, everything that changed. And it's really amazing. You can just study where the subdivisions were added, where new roads were built. It's quite interesting. So you want to check that out. And then in May as well, we're going to open up a traveling exhibit. It is about an Army officer named Seth Eastman, who lived with the Dakota people in the 19th century. And he was also an artist. So he drew and painted the Dakota people. And so the exhibit is lithographs from his artwork.
Okay.
And so it shows the Dakota people living, working, playing, eating, everything that they did in their life, right? And so it's a nice study into that early history of the Dakota people. So that will be up the rest of the year, but we'd love to have you come in and join us early on here in May and check that exhibit out. I don't have a date particularly because we're not sure how long it'll take us to put up. We're leaving our Women in World War II exhibit up right until that first part of May. So that will come down and the new exhibit will come up.
Okay. And if people want to get, say, updates on that sort of thing, where could they get it?
Absolutely. That's the best way to stay updated because I can never remember everything when I come on the show. Our website is rockpilemuseum.com. If you go to Facebook or Instagram, it's it's facebook.com/rockpilemuseum. It's a quick way to get to our site on Facebook. and then at Rockpile Museum on Instagram. Also, if you join the Rockpile Museum Association, you can get a newsletter, a quarterly newsletter that will update you on all the happenings at the museum, all the fundraisers going on through the association, and of course, members get in free.
Yeah.
So there are many benefits to join as a museum association member. That is one of the best monetary reasons to join, is that you can come all year round to anything you like for free. So please consider joining the Museum Association.
All right, yeah, it's a great way to support what the museum does.
Absolutely.
Okay. And is there anything else?
I'm sure there is, but we'll have to update you on that next month.
All right, well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.